Now, what really happened at UFC Fight Night 155? There was a grand display of the right hand, ranging from the power of Urijah Faber to the precision of Andre Fili, and the combination of both from Jermaine Durandamy. The delivery of the right hand was shipped very nicely. And a clear experience gap from all of these fighters to their opposition was a huge indicator for them landing these crafty and precise right hands. So starting with the Jermaine Durandamy fight, now how she was able to land this right hand was pretty simple in her part. She was moving around a lot, allowing Aspen Ladd to walk forward, and GDR is a highly skilled kickboxer, right? And what she was doing was, she was allowing Aspen Ladd to lead so she could see the openings and feel out her movement early on. And Aspen Ladd came out there with her usual plotting, high guard, marching forward looking for that big opening, but she was linearly walking forward and following, and that's a key word, following the multiple-time world kickboxing champion with such a simplistic and rudimentary style and footwork. And all GDR had to do to break through that guard was, with her 5-inch massive reach advantage, reach over and pull down the hand so she can create the opening for the right hand. It was extremely simple. Aspen Ladd always keeps a very high, tight guard, and she marches forward, but she doesn't cut the opponent off. She follows them around the cage with absolutely no head movement and no footwork decency. So it's very easy for GDR to exploit this defensive flaw. Instead of just punching away at the hands, no, you just pull one down and land the punch right behind it. Now, it is quite hard to tell if GDR actually pulled down Aspen Ladd's hand, but she was definitely going for it. Aspen Ladd seemed like she tried to actually parry the left hand of GDR, maybe thinking it was going to be a jab. So either way, Aspen Ladd, if she actually parried the hand of GDR, she still gave GDR the opening GDR wanted on her, right? If you parry, usually your hand comes down too, and she was coming for the left hook. So either way, she gave her that opening, and she was coming over with a looping punch. It just showed the misunderstanding as well as the technical differences of an aggressive grappler in Aspen Ladd compared to the multiple-time world kickboxing champion in GDR. And what Aspen Ladd tried to do as a counter, when her hand got pulled, she tried to follow that momentum for a left hook, but straight punches beat looping punches almost every single time. And look at the range and the extension in the stance of GDR when she was coming for that right hand. I mean, full power all the way through with her form. Bombed and dropped Aspen Ladd hard. Folded her to the mat. And now people will say it was an early stoppage. It was a bit of an early stoppage here. But it wasn't a terrible stoppage because I believe GDR was just going to bomb Aspen Ladd to an oblivion. Her power is nothing to trifle with. And Aspen Ladd was coming into the fight with a very bad weight cut. And that might have been a big factor why she got dropped so easily by GDR. Any follow-up shots on a very young fighter and the bright future that Aspen Ladd has, you can't be too mad at the stoppage. But the fight just showed it was a clear misunderstanding on Aspen Ladd's part. Now diving into the Urijah Faber versus Ricky Simón fight, right from the get-go, you knew Urijah Faber was coming out explosive because of his very antsy movement. He has his eyes clear and focused, sharp on Ricky Simón, and his movements are quite static, but extremely explosive all around the place. He was moving constantly and as fast as possible. And when he threw that first right overhand, you knew, okay, Urijah Faber's looking for a finish, man. He is not looking to make this fight a 3-rounder. And as soon as he drew in Ricky Simón to fall into the trap of the extremely quick right overhand, Simón came in with that jab, and Urijah Faber tried to come over the top with his inside head movement with the punch to crack him over the top. This exact same thing is what happened in the knockout as well. No, first of all, Ricky Simón did actually rock Urijah Faber with that left hook. Urijah Faber attempts a naked inside leg kick, which is a bit ill-advised. It's more of an old-school attack, not to mask your kicks behind your punches. But he goes and throws out the inside leg kick, and what Ricky Simón does is he steps with the kick, so he steps to his left and goes for that long left hook. So the kick is not really landing with full impact. The rotation is getting lengthened, and Faber is planted, so he gets caught clean. If Simón went in through a right hand instead of a left hook, this would have been a lot more devastating because when you're moving to your left, the momentum is carried to that side. So the right hand for the orthodox Simón would have a lot more power in this case, right? When you're throwing the left hook as well as moving to your left, you have to really rotate to punch all the way through your target, you know? So the power in the left hook is actually diminished and the right hand would have been magnified. If he landed the right hand here, things probably would have been a lot differently because he did rock Urijah Faber. A great example of this is Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje, but in the southpaw stance, throwing the left hand instead of the right. But Faber again drew in Ricky Simón to come forward. Now this is a very similar sequence to the one before, but instead of throwing the jab, Ricky Simón actually puts his hand forward and pulls. It's a similar extension on the left hand for Urijah Faber, so for Faber, it's not much of a difference. For Simón, he's posting instead of firing out an attack. but he's posting for his right hand. So very similar to before, he was trying to follow up with the right straight. This time he is actually trying to go for the right straight quicker, but it doesn't matter because Urijah Faber is moving his head to the left. So the right straight still connects on the shoulder of Faber, and Simone gets clanged by this right overhand and landed right on the temple, and this pretty much finished the fight as well. It was a great baiting tactic, and Urijah Faber coming into the fight as, what, a 3-1 underdog, being over 40 years old. I mean, he's just showing, just like he retired a bit premature. Yes, he was a little bit older, but he was still highly skilled and competitive in the division. He came back with a good time off, healthy time off, showing these young guys are still not on my level, man. And it was exciting to see. Now going from old dog to the young dog, we go to Andre Fili, who showed the craftiness of his right hand. Andre Fili looked extremely composed. When he was in the face of Moraes, and Moraes came out and threw that left kick, Fili blocked it effectively with both arms, and instantly, as Moraes' leg is retracting from the kick, Fili fired down that right hand, the same right arm that blocked the kick, fired it straight out, not with great power, but a bit of a surprising factor. The punches you don't see coming are the ones that hurt the most, and it was extremely quick. So this shocked Moraes, and what came up afterward was the right high kick. So same side punch, same side kick, something you don't normally see in the UFC. And both of these pretty much flank Moraes pretty nicely. He did not expect either of these things to come his way, especially off a counter when his leg is retracting, so he can't even move away. He can't even do a necessary effective head movement to get away from the punch and then the kick. And usually when someone throws a straight right hand, what is your slip to evade that punch? It's on the outside of it, which will only make you fall into the right high kick. Very crafty from Andre Fili right there. So obviously Moraes has to take a step back. He has to get a bit away from Andre Fili, but he traps himself against the cage, and Fili stalks him and cuts him off very nicely, forcing Moraes in a very uncomfortable position. He has to break through this pressure. So he goes and throws a right hand, dips a little bit to throw the left shovel hook, and tries to come in with another right hand to create some space, cause Fili to get away from him. And Fili does a very nice job of moving away. He gallops a bit with his feet, which gets him a little bit too close of range, but his massive reach advantage and height advantage allows him to get away safely. Throws that check left hook over the top, but it misses just slightly. Moraes overextended on his own right hand, which leaves himself in a very vulnerable position. If he didn't overextend, he possibly could have gotten away, as Fili's left has already been extended to the closest physical distance to Moraes. Next coming is going to be the right hand, which will be a shorter ranged attack because of Fili's movement backwards. If Moraes did not overextend here, he could have retracted the right hand back into his stance and moved out away from the cage into an entirely new safe position, but the overextension causes him to switch stances forward, which actually covers a bit more distance right into Andre Fili, and Fili off of that left hook, that right hand is ready and loaded to fire out there, and he connects hard with the right hand. So great job from all three of these fighters, from a high-level kickboxer ready for a championship fight with Amanda Nunes to the old dog in Urijah Faber, the legend that's still showing age is perhaps just a number, and Andre Fili showing his progression in the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment below who you guys think did it best, who landed and used that right hand better than the other, which out of the three. I personally think it was Andre Fili, which would be surprising because he has the least experience in the sport and in combat sports in general, but I'm very curious to see what you guys think as well. And my next video is going to be the podcast. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting. I had to push it back a couple times, and I will explain why I had to do that. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.